How to clean your barrel. There is no right or wrong answer because a lot of it depends on the discipline of shooting that you choose to participate in. F-class guys will clean every 20 or 30 rounds. PRS guys will clean every 400, every match. Some people believe in not cleaning until accuracy starts to fall off. I kind of fall into the 300 or 400 rounds or so category myself, even though I don't compete in PRS. I just don't have the time. Someday I'd like to try it, but I don't have the time. But to get a rifle clean, one of the important things that nobody ever talks about is borescopes. You can run patches through and have them come out clean, and you can still have a lot of copper fouling in there. So today I'm going to run through what I do real quick, and this is just what I do. This isn't what you have to do. But with a borescope, we can see a little bit of before and after. So I got the borescope fired up, and this is filthy. This is the barrel that was 27 inches long, and it had fire cracking like crazy. I ended up cutting it down to 16. There was not quite enough meat. The major diameter is actually a little undersized, to be honest. But for fun, I wanted to see, can we save this barrel? Is it possible to save it? So I'm going to try and make a video about that separate. But this is just about cleaning and what you do or don't need to do. All right. So we'll start out in our chamber. This is a little dirty. I've put about 100 rounds, maybe 130 through this. I've tried some factory ammo. I have tried some low development, trying to see if I can get it to shoot well. But as we start out, we got our chamber, and you can see there's a bunch of crud already. And there's our carbon ring. There's our carbon ring right there. And a little bit of free bore. And we come into our lands and grooves. And you can see right here that these are still in great shape. This barrel looks fairly nice. I don't really see any prominent fire cracking. And we can make our way down, look around in here. It doesn't look terrible. It's dirty. It's interesting too because it's fairly clean. And as we get deeper away from the chamber, it got a little bit dark. Real dark. And then we keep going, and it gets cleaner again. And we're getting closer to the end. This is only a 16-inch barrel, so it shouldn't take too long to get there. But even near the end of the barrel, we still got some dirt and yuck in there. Don't know what that is. And that's it. So I'm going to dive into a little bit of what I do for cleaning real quick. Also, I got some emails and some comments, people saying that this barrel was not shot out and it was just dirty. At the end, I'm also going to borescope this. And I went through and cleaned this. Maybe for fun, we'll put it back on little old LUPIA and see if it shoots. I'm skeptical. I know that the barrel shot out, but I'd be really happy if I got more barrel life out of it, and I'd keep running it, because this barrel shot very, very well. So I like Tipton bore guides because they're inexpensive, and I am cheap. They work very well. My preferred cleaner as of late is Vortec Eliminator. Some people say they don't have good luck getting copper out. I've had good luck with it. One of the key things to remember when you're cleaning a rifle is keep the muzzle slightly lower than the chamber. And the best way to do that is with a couple boxes of ammo, because you're not at home with all your stuff that you would normally use. I actually have a nice Tipton gun vise that I could use, but of course it's at home. My counters in the shop are kind of high. This is not my ideal place to be doing this, but it was one of the few places that I thought I could show this. So the first thing I like to do is take one patch, get it wet. Another tip I like about bore guides is I like to put the patch in the bore guide and then get it wet. And the reason I do this is I tend to make less of a mess, except like just now when I got it everywhere. But I run one patch wet just to start getting the solvent to do its work. Then I switch over to a brass brush. Some guys like nylon. I like brass. I feel like it gets it a little bit cleaner. You can take your bore guide out. You can leave it in. I just leave it in until I'm done doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to get this wet, and I'm going to run this full length back and forth, probably a good 20 strokes. If you have a designated cleaning area, you could run 2 separate cleaning rods and have your jag on one and your brush on the other. And look at that. Half a patch. Now I'll run another wet patch through it. And as you can see, that wet patch came out much dirtier than the previous wet patch. The previous wet patch had no real copper coloring on it. This one's loaded with greenish blue. So off camera, I am going to run a few more wet patches, a couple dry patches, and then we'll get the borescope back out again. So I've gone about as far as I'm going to with this rifle to get it clean. I ended up doing a total of 100 strokes. I've gone through 20-something patches. It's pretty clean, but you got to bear in mind, this barrel was an unknown round count used takeoff barrel that was absolutely destroyed. So there's a lot of just wear and tear on it that's not going to come off. At least not without abrasives. I could try an abrasive cleaner like JB Bore Paste. I've never used that stuff personally, not that I have a problem with it, I've just never tried it. But here we can see my free bore is still kind of dirty. I may have to try a different chemical to really get that clean if I want to. But when we get past that, just past the free bore, there is still a little bit of fire cracking that you can just barely see. It's not terrible, but it's there. There's some right there. And this is only about 2 inches from the actual chamber. For some reason, this barrel gets really, really dark, and there's some kind of, I don't know what that is going on right there. But this barrel gets really, really dark for a while. There's some other stuff going on here. And then eventually, about half the length of the barrel down, it starts to get nice and bright. And this has been scrubbed to no end. There's still some carbon hiding in those crevices that I just can't get out of there. Like I said, I've gone over 100 strokes back and forth. But as we go down, it's, you know, it looks decent here. That's real clean. We're getting near the end of the barrel toward the muzzle. There's some lint and debris still in there. You never get it all really out. You can try. But it's a pretty decent looking barrel at this point. Question was, will it shoot? When I had said we were going to take a look at this barrel. This is LUPIA's original barrel. This is the one that was made by Masterpiece Arms, and you can see they did the tenon full length, which I don't agree with, but it shot well. And I said we were going to borescope it, so let's take a look at it. And mind you, this is after I cleaned it. Everybody was saying that this barrel was just filthy and it wasn't worn out, there's no fire cracking. Let's take a look and see. So here's our chamber. Right there. That's where your carbon ring is, right at the very, very start of your free bore. You can see fire cracking in the free bore area. There's our free bore. Our free bore is cracked. Now as we get into our rifling, this barrel has been cleaned to within an inch of its life, and now you can see all that fire cracking. And it is there. There's a lot of it. It's nice and shiny, but there's a lot of fire cracking. Look at that. And this is 4 inches from the end of the barrel. So that's about 2 inches into, right here, we're about 2 inches into the actual rifling. You can see it's bad. There's damage everywhere. We'll go a little deeper. It's still dark. And this barrel has been scrubbed and scrubbed, and that is some hard carbon in there too, but there's definitely fire cracking everywhere. And we get a little bit further down. Here we're about 8 inches from the chamber, and it's pretty clean. Very faint fire cracking. I've seen worse. This is 12 inches from the chamber. And look at that. That is nice. The whole barrel all the way down. This is like a nice bright shiny mirror. And get all the way down near the crown. There we go. That's near the crown. You can see this barrel is spotlessly clean. Some of the stuff you're just never going to get out. Can't tell what that is in there.